Hi, thanks for joining us today. This is the first video in a series of videos that we'll be doing. This one's on manganese, its uses and what is it? It is. I'm Peter Allen, Managing Director of Firebird Metals. I've been involved with a number of manganese projects over the last 20 years, principally in manganese marketing, logistics and management. So let's get into manganese. So what exactly is manganese? Manganese is the fourth most used metal in the world today by tonnage terms, behind iron, aluminium and copper in that order. More than 90% of manganese is used in the production of steel. The second largest market segment for manganese is the battery industry. This is a polished sample we took from our Oakover project. We're currently in the process and planning for a drilling campaign for this year, which will combine with bulk sampling, metallurgical test work, diamond drilling. We really look forward to bringing you those updates as they come through over the course of the next few months. As said, more than 90% of manganese is used in the production of steel. I think it's worth noting that there is no economic substitute for manganese in the steel process. Manganese is converted into manganese alloys first. Manganese alloys of different grades, which will then feed into different types of steel. So for example, silicon manganese goes into construction steels, high carbon ferromanganese into industrial and automotive steels. The refined group, which is medium and low carbon, will end up in specialty type steels. Manganese metal, or EMM, is also used in specialty steels. Also, the primary market is stainless steel. Moreover, today, EMM is dissolved back into manganese sulfate for the lithium-ion battery market to get the impurity levels right. Electric manganese dioxide, or EMD, is primarily used in alkaline batteries. And as mentioned, manganese sulfate is principally used now in lithium-ion batteries. So trying to quantify the different types of manganese alloys, this is a graph that shows manganese alloy production over the last 20 years. You'll see silicon manganese is by far the largest market segment, and it's by far the segment that's traditionally had the strongest growth over those 20 years. You'll see then there's high carbon ferromanganese and the refined group up above. Worth looking at is the manganese ore requirements. So typically a smelter will blend their manganese ore imports or purchases into the smelter to reach this sort of specification. So silicon manganese, they're looking for like a 34 or 36% manganese, high carbon around 40% manganese, and then the refined groups need more than 46% manganese. So looking at where manganese is mined and produced, these orange dots are countries where manganese is produced. South Africa is by far the largest producer, followed by, in no particular order, Australia, China, India, Gabon, Ghana, and Brazil. Where it is imported, no surprises, China is the largest importer and it dominates the imported market. The graph on the right shows the matrix between production and imports. And as you can see, as we mentioned, South Africa is the largest producer and exporter, with China the largest importer. So even though the battery segment is relatively small, it's still a segment that is forecast to grow significantly over the coming years, especially on the movement or the higher increase in awareness of electric vehicles. Bloomberg is forecasting that by 2050, almost half of all, or more than half of all vehicles on the road will be EV passenger vehicles. So just a bit more on batteries. So the battery raw materials for batteries are a large cost of the batteries, and then for a large cost of EVs. Both battery manufacturers and EV manufacturers are looking at ways of driving down that cost to make EVs more accessible to the wider public. A very interesting thing to note recently is Volkswagen announced that their mass volume market will use a high manganese content battery cathode, so with less nickel and no cobalt. It's certainly an example of how car manufacturers are looking to drive down costs, and they can do that with manganese. So look, I hope you found this informative. As mentioned, it's the first in a series. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to make contact. I'll try and answer any questions that I can within the following videos. Once again, thanks for watching. Thank you for your time and stay safe.